The Satanic Mill by Otfried Preussler. The first year, 12, no pastor or cross. Winter came early after the fine October weather. 2 weeks after All Saints' Day it snowed, and the snow settled. Crabbit was busy clearing it away again, keeping the path leading to the mill clear. All the same, on the next night of the new moon, the good man came. And I should specify good man as one word, not two words. But I'm going to keep saying it the way I've been saying it. The good man came, driving right across the snow-covered meadow in his cart as usual, without getting stuck or leaving any tracks behind him. The wintry weather did not bother Crabbit, for in spite of the snow, it was not too bitterly cold. But it seemed to be troubling the rest of the miller's men. Their tempers got worse from week to week, and as the end of the year approached, they were more and more difficult to live with. They were touchy and irritable and would come to blows at the slightest provocation. Even the cheerful Andrews, as Crabbit learned one day when he knocked Andrews's cap off with a snowball just for fun. His fingers were itching to do it. Andrews flew at the boy and would have beaten him black and blue but for Tonda, who stepped in and parted them. "What impudence!" said Andrews furiously. "No sooner does he get a bit of down on his chin than he thinks he can be cocky. Just you wait. I'll show you another time." Unlike the others, Tonda was as kind and friendly as ever. The only difference in him that Crabbit could see was that he seemed a little sadder than usual, though he tried to hide it from everyone. Perhaps he misses the girl he loved, Crabbit guessed, and again the singer from Schwartz's column came unbidden into his mind. It was a long time since he had thought of her. He felt it would be better to forget her altogether, but he did not know how. The Christmas season came. For the miller's men it was work as usual, and they went about it listlessly and sluggishly. To cheer them up, Crabbit cut some branches of fir in the wood to deck the table. When the others came in to eat, they were very angry. "What's this for?" cried Stashko. "Take that rubbish away. Get it out of here." "Yes, get it out of here," they all cried. "Take it away." Even Michael and Merton were shouting. "Whoever brought this stuff indoors could just get rid of it again," said Quito. "And fast," said Hanzo grimly, "or I'll knock his teeth in." Trying to pacify them, Crabbit started to explain, but Petar would not let him. "Just get rid of it, that's all," he snapped, "or do we have to take a stick to you?" Crabbit did as he was told, but it still rankled. What in heaven's name had he done wrong? Or was he making too much of a small incident? These days the miller's men were always quarreling for no good reason, and he must not forget that he was only an apprentice, and an apprentice must expect rough treatment now and then. Only it was odd that he had never been made to feel like that before. It was only now winter had come that they were all picking on him. Would it be like this for the rest of his apprenticeship, 2 whole years? When he had a chance, Crabbit asked the head journeyman what was wrong with the others. "What's the matter with them, Tonda?" "They're afraid," said Tonda, looking away from him. "Afraid of what?" Crabbit asked. "I may not talk about it," said the head journeyman. "You'll find out soon enough." "What about you?" asked Crabbit. "You're not afraid, are you, Tonda?" "More than you guess," said Tonda, shrugging his shoulders. On New Year's Eve, they went to bed earlier than usual. The master had not put in an appearance all day. Perhaps he had locked himself in the black room and was sitting there, as he sometimes did, or he might have gone out in the sleigh. No one seemed to miss him. No one mentioned him. After supper, the miller's men crept away to their straw mattresses without a word. Crabbit said good night, as he did every evening, the way an apprentice should. Today the others seemed to resent it. "Hold your tongue," Petar snapped. Lyshko threw a shoe at him. "Hey there," cried Crabbit, sitting up in bed. "Take it easy. Can't I say good night without—" Another shoe flew through the air, skimming his shoulder. Tonda caught the third. "Leave the boy alone," he told them. "This night, too, will pass." He turned to Crabbit. "You'd better lie down and keep quiet, boy." Crabbit obeyed. He let Tonda cover him with a blanket and lay his hand on his forehead. "Go to sleep now, Crabbit, and may all be well with you in the new year." Crabbit usually slept soundly all night until morning, until something woke him. This time he woke of his own accord just before midnight. He was surprised to see the lamp burning and the others still awake, all of them as far as he could see. They were lying on their beds, and they seemed to be waiting for something. They were scarcely breathing. They scarcely dared to move. It was deathly quiet in the house, so that Crabbit wondered if he had gone deaf. But he was not deaf, for it was then he heard the scream and the crash down in the hall, and his companions groaned aloud, half in fear, half relieved. Had there been an accident of some kind? Who had uttered that cry? The cry of a man in deadly danger. Without stopping to think, Crabbit was out of bed, running to fling open the attic door and hurry downstairs to find out. The door was barred from outside, however. Frantically he shook it. It would not open. Then someone put an arm around his shoulders and spoke to him. It was Juro. Stupid Juro. Crabbit knew by his voice. Come, Crabbit, said Juro. Lie down again. That scream! Gasped Crabbit. That cry just now! Do you think we didn't hear it too? Replied Juro, leading Crabbit back to his bed. The miller's men were all crouching on their mattresses, staring at Crabbit in silence, their eyes wide. No, they were not staring at Crabbit, but past him, at the head journeyman's bed. Isn't Tonda here? Crabbit asked. No, said Juro. His place is empty, as you can see. Lie down and try to sleep. And don't cry, do you hear me? Crying won't undo what is done. They found Tonda on New Year's Day in the morning. He was lying face downward at the foot of the attic stairs. The miller's men did not seem surprised. Crabbit was the only one who could not grasp the fact of Tonda's death. He flung himself on his friend's body, sobbing, calling his name and begging, "Say something, Tonda, say something!" He took the dead man's hand. Only yesterday he had felt it touch his forehead before he went to sleep, and now he was stiff and cold and strange to him, very strange. "Get up," said Michael. "We can't leave him lying here." He and his cousin Merton carried the corpse into the servants' hall and laid it on a plank. "How did it happen?" asked the boy. Michael hesitated before answering. "He broke his neck." "I suppose he missed a step in the dark." "Maybe," said Michael. He closed the dead man's eyes and put a bundle of straw that Juro had fetched under his head. Tonda's face was pale, like wax, thought Crabbit. He could not look at it without feeling tears come to his eyes. Andrush and Stashko took him up to the attic. "Let's stay here," they suggested. "We'd only be in the way downstairs." Perching on the side of his bed, Crabbit asked what would be done with Tonda now. "All that ought to be done," said Andrush. "Juro will lay him out. It's not the first time he's done that for someone, and then we'll bury him. When? This afternoon, I'd say." "What, without the master?" "We don't need the master's help to bury him," said Stashko harshly. That afternoon they carried Tonda out of the mill in a pine coffin, out into the fen of Castle, to the waste ground. The grave was dug already, its sides frosted with rime, the mound of earth beside it dusted with snow. They buried the dead man hastily and without ceremony, with no pastor or cross, no candles or hymn singing. The men did not linger by the grave a moment longer than necessary. Only Crabbit stayed on. He wanted to say the Lord's Prayer for his friend Tonda, but somehow it had slipped his memory. He began it again and again, but he could never get to the end of it, not in German, nor even in Wendish. And that is the end of the first year.